Friends, I am here and I am doing a 100% drugstore makeup look for you today. Y'all wanted to see some things that you can go and get on your regular Target or Ulta trip, and luckily I was at Ulta and Target. They're right next to each other where I live, and I picked up some great stuff, including this Maybelline palette. This is the Nudes of New York. I loved this. I talk more about it in the video. There is one product that I am just not a fan of. I'll give you a hint, it's my brows. But everything else I am really pleased with, and I thank you for your recommendations, especially for a drugstore foundation, because I know that's big on people's lists. I don't want to spend $45 on a foundation all the time. This is great. So I give you some tips on how to save some money throughout as well, if you don't want to buy one item for every single thing. So stick with me and I hope you enjoy it. All right, so I'm gonna prime my skin with the Essence Prime Studio Mattifying Pore Minimizing Primer with Black Clay. The clay is gonna be good for drying up oil. The nice thing is it doesn't feel like drying on my forehead or through the outsides of my face. Okay, the foundation I chose is the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage, and this is the color 118 Light Beige. Okay, so one thing I will say is the coverage is really good. The color match is almost spot on for me, and that's pretty good for a drugstore foundation. Looks more yellow on the camera. God, this dries really fast. Wow. Looks more yellow on the camera than it does in person. When doing this, I would recommend using a wet sponge over any kind of brush. And I may have wanted to use a different primer, whatever. Overall though, I don't hate the finish of it. Looks pretty natural. Concealer, I am trying the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I want to say, so I'm gonna dot this in a triangle right here. And as you notice, I don't take my concealer all the way out, because I also couldn't find a good eye primer. I'm gonna go ahead and use this to prime. I hate calling it priming my eyes because it's not. And I'm gonna go ahead and just blank out my eyes, and then I will go in with the Maybelline Color Tattoo over that for the actual base. A few observations on this concealer: it blends really well. The only thing I will say is you probably are gonna need a powder. I generally always need a powder. This is pretty tacky still. So I'm gonna use a little bit of the e.l.f. This is HD powder. The word is, this is a lot like the NARS. It's not NARS, it's Makeup Forever setting powder. It does not feel as fine as that powder. I'm just setting my under eye so that nothing falls out. Okay, for eyes, I'm using the Maybelline Nudes of New York. Is it New York? Yeah, Nudes of New York. This has come highly recommended by so many people. It has oodles of shades in here. Lots of warm browns, some shimmers, highlights, mattes. So this was a great all-around palette in terms of the colors. I have no idea how it's gonna play out, so here we go. I am, again, using a bunch of Morphe brushes because it's the closest. You can get Morphe at the drugstore, right? Anyway, they're cheaper brushes, less expensive brushes, excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the color Explorer, which is a mauve color, right in the center here, and I'm going to throw that on my socket line. Taking this Real Techniques, this is our eye brush. It's very old. I actually used to use this for concealer under my eyes, but I found it worked better just as a regular powder brush. And I'm using the color Voyager. They have a lip color that's the same name as that. I wonder if, is it the same color? It might be. Then I'm just taking this and deepening the color in my socket line. Okay, and lastly, I'm gonna actually take this color, which, while this is a darker color, this one has a little bit more of a gray tone. This is the color Self Starter. And I'm using a different brush and working that also into my socket line. I use back and forth windshield wiper motions and tiny circles. So I do a combination of both, and the tiny circle always happens in what a lot of people refer to as the outer V. It's really, for me, it's like a backwards 7 shape. So you just sort of follow the line of your eye where your where your crease would be if you had one. One of the things that I really like about this palette is the many different shades of metallics. This one is probably the closest to what I would wear like on a daily basis. It has like a bright antique gold, copper. This one is more like a purple shimmer. Then the one right in the middle is like that perfect bronze. But for today, I think I'm gonna go in with this middle tone, this super bronzy color. I'm taking that on the back side of a flat brush, and I'm just packing this on the lid. And this last shade, it's a highlighter shade called, nope, it's not, it's called Originator. I'm just putting this in the inner corner to bring a little bit of light to it. I'm going in back with that Explorer color, which is right in the center, and I'm going to start lining underneath my eyes very carefully. When it comes to doing under eye shadow, the way that I like to do it is I like to start with the lightest color first and do the area for the lightest color, because you may not really need any additional shadow once you have that on. I'm gonna go back in with that dark grayish brown color called Self Starter, and I'm just gonna focus on the outer third of my under eye with this. And I'm not pointing the brush directly at it for this. I'm keeping it upright so the color just stays as close to my lash line as possible. And then I'm going in with this pen liner. This is the Maybelline pen. I am gonna go ahead and just powder through the center of my face. This foundation is not gonna go anywhere, but I do tend to get oily right behind the flares of my nose, so I'm just gonna go ahead and head it off now, just through the center of my face, and I'm just gonna use that same HD powder. One thing you can do if you don't want to go out and spend a bunch of money on eyeshadow and bronzer and all this other stuff is you can get away with using your highlight from your eyeshadow palette and then a mid-tone color. I'm actually going to use this color right here. I know it's weird. As your bronzer. I would not recommend using a very big brush for this. So try to use something as small as you can comfortably. So I'm just going to tap into it. And I'm using the same highlight color that I used on the inner corner of my eye, tapping once into it. Essence Mosaic blush, and I cannot open it. Okay. Looks like this. really good universal color. This is the biggest freaking brush that I own. And I don't know how this color payoff's gonna be. Okay, I'm trying something. Anytime I've ever done anything with Drugstore, I have always kept like 1 or 2 products the same as what I normally would use. So I'm gonna try the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Tint Pen as compared to my beloved MAC Brow Pen. This color is in the color Deep Brown. It has, okay. It has 3 prongs on the brush. Hello? Whatever, we're not gonna get that to focus. It has 3 prongs on the brush, and then if you turn it sideways, it's pretty thin. I'm a little scared. Okay, I don't know if I can do it. I'll probably end up having to fix it with my MAC pen. Last step is gonna be mascara. This is the only thing, this is my personal MAC curling or lash curler. I wasn't gonna buy another lash curler from the drugstore because I know this one works really well and it's 20 bucks. And I would much rather you spend $20 on a lash curler that's gonna last you longer than a couple months, and that really does work. So this one, the Shuamura, I think the Sephora one is pretty good too. I haven't used it in a long time. Okay, so I'm using the Maybelline okay, mascara is on. Now I'm gonna come in with this Maybelline Superstay Ink Matte Lip Crayon. This is in the color Enjoy the View. I promise this is not sponsored by Maybelline. The backside of it has a little sharpener, which is great if you're like me and you smushed it. That's all flat. But I'm just gonna use it smushed right now. This is like a muted rosy color, and I was wearing chapstick. On this is a really nice formula. I thought it was matte. It's not matte. It's more of a natural or satin finish. It does not feel drying on the lips. It doesn't feel sticky. It kind of has like a powdery finish on the lips, like that you can kind of feel. But other than that, really like it. It's a nice color. It's a really good color for spring. So there we have it. Full face of drugstore makeup. So I will say, based on things that I've said throughout, I'm pretty impressed with this foundation. It's gonna wear pretty well. My only concern that I have with it, and this is the concern that I have with all drugstore foundations, is over time they do oxidize, but I will wear it for a few days and let you know what I think. This eyeshadow palette is great. You can use it as a bronzer, you can use it as a highlighter, you can use it as a shadow palette, and I'm pretty sure because there is this cool like purple color in here, you might even try to use it as a blush. Don't really do that. So I'm super impressed with that. The biggest dud is gonna be that brow pen. And as you can see, I don't even know what I did with it. Oh yeah, this was like $9 or something like that. So I would say that for a couple bucks more, you can get a really good quality pen. Otherwise, I would actually stick with pencil at the drugstore. Just my personal professional opinion. Hope you liked it, and I really enjoyed doing this one. This was stepping outside of my box, so I'll see you next time.